Hey guys, and we're back. Today we are doing a new Opal tutorial. The original one I used Marco Raffines to do that, and it was really good, and it's still the way that I prefer to do them. Just the same methodology, but we'll be doing them with Prismacolors today. We'll also be doing them a lot darker, more in-depth. To go lighter, it would be very simple just to use slightly lighter colors and go over it with the white a whole bunch in between layers and stuff like that in order to get that same very soft effect. This would be more of a bright, vibrant opal type gem, as well as if you wanted to, you could definitely go in and make the background out to be very, very dark and turn it into a black opal. So, I have a ton of colors picked out, and we probably will not use them all. But just to go over them, obviously I've got white and black here. The greens that I have picked out are spring green and true green. Spring green is a much more yellow green, and true green is much more of a softer green. Let's see, I've got yellowed orange. And then I've got crimson red, true blue, pink, yellow chartreuse. And I picked out the yellow chartreuse because it's got some of the green in it, as well as being very, very bright. And I really wanted that in my opal. And I've got black already. And then I've got two grays for shading. One is the 70% cool gray, and the other is the 20% cool gray. And then this is a possible, I put this in, it's violet blue. I kind of used it on the outline. I don't know if we'll use it in the opal, unless we decide to do a dark opal, which might have to be a whole nother tutorial. Anyway, like we talked about in our first Prismacolor tutorial this week, lost my mind there for a second. We want to put down our shading first. So, we're going to go around the edge. I'm also going to be using my odorless mineral spirits today in order to help blend and get down the base layers, because opals do need layers. So, opals are kind of a cross between the two versions of things that we generally do. We've got a gem, which is translucent, and it usually has direct light, and it goes from one side to another. And then we have the stone, which would be completely opaque. Opals aren't either. They're kind of an in-between, since they have multiple layers that you can visually see. They have translucency to them, but on a general scale, opals themselves are not completely transparent, which makes it a little bit more difficult to be able to do. So I figured we would do kind of what we call an all-around light gem or whatnot. That way we can just kind of showcase those serious colors like right in the middle. I'm going to go in now with my 20% gray. And this really needs to be sharp. Like, oh my goodness. Please keep your Prismacolors sharp. Like, that is a huge thing. When you're doing gems and such, if you're doing any kind of work that needs layers or anything, it's easier to work with them if they've got a nice little sharp tip on there. It also helps you for doing the light layers, because then if you break the tip, then you know you're pushing too hard. You want a light hand when you are doing layers. So, if you ever need practice on that, that's a great way to practice, is to sharpen your Prismacolors up and use one, you know, that you don't use a lot. And then work on not breaking your tip. Okay, I want to work some more of this 70% gray around here. Get this edge nice and dark all the way around as we work a gradient from dark all the way to light, giving it that kind of 3D volume effect that we're trying to build. Okay. Now, here's where I totally cheat. And I grab my odorless mineral spirits and my little blender stump. There it is. Just one of the little tortillions or paper stumps or whatever you call them. And I just want to take this and go super light very quickly over my Prisma to blend it out. Somebody talked to me about the Prismacolor blender pen or a blender marker or something, and I'm betting that that's probably what it is just it's a marker or a felt tip with a variation of odorless mineral spirits in it to help blend them together. So I'm guessing that's what it is. I could be totally wrong. Never know. But yeah, that would be my assumption on that. I'm trying to get this nice and smooth. The odorless mineral spirits, they pick up the pigment and move it around quite a bit. So, okay, so that's kind of what we want as far as the shading of it goes, so that it's coming up at us, kind of like a bubble, right? That's definitely what we want. Now, we want to begin to bring in our colors. Most of the opals that I see have lots of oranges and reds and bright colors, and I'm like, that. We can totally do that. I want to begin a base with greens because I really love how greens look, and they're also an in-between yellows and blues and stuff like that. So that's what I want to do. And I just want to go in and start putting down like these big swaths of color, basically. And just getting basic over the gem. And I'm just going to put them in randomly because every single opal you see is going to be different. So, put some little dots in here as well, because why not? And just go from there. Yeah, like that. Then I'm gonna go for my true green and kind of build on the green that I've done already. Go around some of the edges, kind of branch off. And when I voted, or had you guys vote on this, on the type of opal you guys liked in Gem House, you guys all kind of liked the super vibrant one, so that's what we're kind of going for. Let's see. Let's go with our yellowed orange now. Just kind of get in here, get some oranges going on. Yeah. just like that. I think that looks pretty good so far. And I'm not doing extremely light layers. I'm keeping my pressure pretty steady. And just going on because I want a solid color lay down for these, because I don't want them to get completely muddied together if I layer over them on the edges or anything like that. So I'm gonna grab my crimson red and start. I want to go over some of this orange so that the orange gives a good bright base for the red. And also really go down here. And like I said, you can choose different colors if you want. You could make like a pastel, you know, opal if you want to. I just thought that this was going to be really, really bright, really eye-catching. I really want that kind of look here. So, why these little dots? I have no idea. I'm just putting them there. And then, let's see. I'm gonna grab the yellow chartreuse. Gonna kind of lay it in here on any of the white, go over some of the greens as well as some of the orange. You can just pretty much go over anything with this because you're gonna get a decent look. Kind of just blending away over here. Kind of like the way it looks though, huh? Interesting. Alright, so I think what I want actually is a darker green to go into some of this, but because I don't have a darker green pulled out, you can go in with the violet blue and then just go real lightly and then go up the sides of some of these. Just go kind of around edges and stuff. I want it kind of out near the edge too. I just want some darker areas. Don't, if you can, don't go over the orange with this because it will just get muddy. Orange and blue are complementary colors, which means they go nicely side by side and they play off of each other, but on top of one another they'll make brown. So don't do that. I just kind of wanted some darker areas. But we do have true blue over here, which is a lighter blue and can go in and try and go around some of these areas. And you can go over green with this, you can go next to the reds with this. And try and do little circles so that you can get it all kind of softer, more blendy. This is a very interesting looking gem, let me tell you that. So not exactly what I figured, but you know. Maybe it's just my pattern is off. All my little dots are kind of weird. But you could do more dots, you could do less dots, you don't have to do dots. I don't even know why I did dots. So, I think I want to go in here with my white and kind of just, I don't know. It's blending, and I'm also kind of reducing how vibrant they are at the same time. Because I'm not a huge fan of my dots anymore. Oh well. Sad day. You're really cool looking gem though, huh? Alright. That's what we want. Your white pencil in Prismacolors does give a great lightening effect, almost like a blurry effect. And is really good for blending, but it will dull the vibrancy of your colors because it is actually layering a white over them. So if you want to bring the vibrancy back up, then I would definitely suggest going back over your gem with your color. That way, I'm trying to use that more so that I don't hit it with my hand as much. Come in here with my orange. Just kind of. I have no idea what I'm doing at this point. I do like it though. I think my red needs to either be more or not be there at all. So since it's already here, we'll bring it out to play some more. Maybe it's not the best opal in the world, but you get the general idea. And every opal will be different because you're making your own pattern. You're going in and just doing it the way you want. So, do it how you want. Make it your own. Very special gem. Very special opal. And all that is really left after you're done playing with all your colors and figuring out where you want them and where you don't, like I'm still trying to figure out, just put in your highlights. And when you're doing indirect lights, where they're all around, which is what we're going to be doing with this one, we'll put yellow like right here. When you're doing the indirect lights, what I like to do isn't just like little lines or whatever, but I like to pick two sides, like, and then do like almost a little tiny highlight like I would if it was a direct light gem, and then do it the opposite way, almost like a yin-yang effect, you know, on the other one, where it's, you know, bigger at one side and then it goes off, and then just kind of bring out a couple of the highlights around there. But I like to do that just for, I don't know, I like the effect of it. So and when you're doing the all-around highlights like this, make sure you do some that are here, some that are near the edge, and some that are inner a little bit. Like, you don't want to go and just make like basically a circle. You want to have them kind of just off just a little bit, so that it looks like there really are some varying lights around it. And by the way, what these little dots are, I don't even know. Like these little highlight dots. But I like them, so. There we go. That's our really bright opal. I think I might fool around with some of the colors some more I might begin to darken some of these blues in here with the blue violet. Isn't that what this is? Yeah, violet blue or whatever. And you could work it and make it darker. You could, like I said, go in and begin making the entire thing darker. You could, I mean, before highlights and whatnot. Turn it into like a black opal or something that looks more like a black opal. Leave more of the background and just go over it very, very lightly, and then add more white and do layers of white as you go through it in order to get a much, much lighter opal. One that looks more like one of the milky white ones. So, there we go. I actually really like it. Now we're at the end, and I'll see you next time. Talk to you later.